If you don't know this already, Bill Maher is a noted liberal, has been on the far left for 25 years. He hosts a show on HBO called Real Time with Bill Maher. And while I probably disagree, and while you probably disagree a lot with what Bill Maher has to say policy-wise, he is reasonable at least and is able to have conversations with people that aren't in his specific bubble. Bill Maher, for all of his transgressions, does have conservatives on his show. Ben Shapiro's been on his show numerous times. Matt Schlapp, the CPAC president, has been on his show numerous times. He has people on his show that he doesn't agree with, but he is a reasonable person. That reasonability showed its face on Friday night on Bill Maher's real-time show. You're going to want to watch some of these clips because this is, again, a noted liberal and a noted lefty, super progressive lefty, by the way, that is looking at the transgender movement, I guess you want to call it, within families and their kids, and going, oh, there's something wrong here, and he's calling it out. Watch these couple clips. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section, and we will discuss on the other side. This is, again, Bill Maher from Real Time on HBO last Friday.
Broken down over time, the LGBT population of America seems to be roughly doubling every generation. According to a recent Gallup poll, less than 1% of Americans born before 1946, that's Joe Biden's generation, identify that way. 2.6% of boomers do, 4.2% of Gen X, 10.5% of millennials, and 20.8% of Gen Z. Which means if we follow this trajectory, we will all be gay in 2054.
So he's talking about sheer numbers there, and it seems to make a lot of sense. Now, he goes on to list this caveat, and I'll list it too, just again, for the sake of being fair. The only thing I care about is fairness. I have a perspective, but the only thing I care about is being fair to arguments. There is some ground to the argument of, okay, well, it's easier to say what you feel or come out, whatever it is that you want to call it, nowadays. But over time, we've talked about this polling before, about 3% of the population identifies as gay, and now that trajectory has skyrocketed. And Bill Maher, like myself, is saying this isn't all explained by a more accepting society. This is explained by a more damning society, honestly, that allows hatred to infect all of the people that aren't, quote unquote, allies or LGBTQ2 plus IA, whatever you want to call it. He goes on, watch this.
And it's okay to ask questions about something that's very new and involves children. The answer can't always be that anyone from a marginalized community is automatically right, trump card, mic drop, end of discussion.
Yeah.
Because we're literally experimenting on children. Maybe that's why Sweden and Finland have stopped giving puberty blockers to kids. Because we just don't know much about the long-term effects. Although common sense should tell you that when you reverse the course of raging hormones, there's going to be problems. We do know it hinders the development of bone density, which is kind of important if you like having a skeleton.
Again, Bill Maher being reasonable. Finland and Sweden, who are, you want to talk progressive? Your Bernie Sanders wing of the Democratic Party loves pointing out the Nordic countries and saying, wow, look at how great their socialized healthcare is. Yeah, their socialized healthcare said, yeah, no more puberty blockers to kids. I don't need to talk much here. I'll let Bill Maher continue on with this last clip of what he thinks is the problem in the growing trend of this trans kids, again, movement. I don't know if movement is the right word, but we'll call it a movement.
If you attend a small dinner party of typically very liberal, upper-income Angelenos, it is not uncommon to hear parents who each have a trans kid having a conversation about that. What are the odds of that happening in Youngstown, Ohio? If this spike in trans children is all natural, why is it regional? Either Ohio is shaming them or California is creating them. If we can't admit that in certain enclaves there is some level of trendiness to the idea of being anything other than straight, then this is not a serious science-based discussion. It's a blow being struck in the culture wars using children as cannon fodder.
Yeah, can't really argue with him there. Again, the issue being that there is some level of a more accepting society being able to say what you want, how you feel, all that sort of stuff. And he said that he agrees with that. That's a good thing in his mind. But there's something going on culturally to where the online media culture that kids are growing up in are telling them, hey, counterculture is this. And counterculture has always been a thing. Kids have always rebelled in some way, shape, or form. I did it. You did it. Literally every angsty teenager did it. But when it comes to that angst and that rebellion causing long-term ramifications via puberty blockers and reconstructive surgery, that's when reasonable people have a problem, such as Bill Maher. So there's that. We'll leave that there.